Welcome to Chaos Podcast. I am your host, Terry Lynn. I am a virtual assistant, bookkeeper, and international business strategist. I love leveling up, creating strategies, and thinking outside of the box, especially with serial entrepreneurs because we are impacting the world with new innovations, community collaboration, and global technology. We will discuss strategies that stifle mental chaos so that you can create habits and outstanding success right here on Chaos. Good morning, Jakki.
Good morning, Terry Lynn.
Your story is extraordinary, and I cannot wait for the audience to hear it, because if there is not proof that we can heal, yours definitely gives us the inspiration to push, to research, to follow your heart. Pun.
Very much so.
So, welcome to Chaos.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Jakki Woywikita, correct?
Very good. You got it.
You are a healthy heart coach.
I am.
Your title is Integrative Heart Health Coach.
That's correct. Yes.
Wonderful. You help people with heart disease and risk factors by being empowered in their health care in order to live their best lives. I love it.
Thank you.
Okay, at the age of 36, you were diagnosed with the unthinkable congestive heart failure from unknown causes. There we go, unknown causes. With a 15% functioning heart, allergic to most pharmaceuticals, you developed a natural health plan. Today, you are pharmaceutical, medical device, and sugary free, and you've become surgery free. I got excited.
That's okay. I love sugar too.
You have become as we said, integrative heart health coach to help those with heart disease and risk factors. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here.
Thank you.
We get to learn some serious stuff. Yeah, I know. I want to show your logo.
Okay.
Beautiful. I love it.
Thank you so much.
Tell us how you came about this beautiful logo.
Okay. So there are a couple of things. Obviously, the heart shape is for my heart disease. And then the butterfly. So I have a genetic condition called Turner syndrome, which only affects ladies. And believe it or not, amongst both men and women, it is the second most common genetic defect after Down syndrome.
Wow.
And in females, it's number one common defect by double anything else. Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
It's amazing that we haven't heard this before.
You won't, because the only trait that you will visually see is that I'm a bit shorter than average. I'm only 4'10" or 150 centimeters.
Okay.
And that's the only outward sign that you would see. So it's not something that people would see or hear about.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the butterfly. So we're called butterflies because it's only in females, and we tend to be very happy and outgoing and loving people. And then the thumbprint in the heart, that was an interesting suggestion from a friend actually, because what I do is my big thing in medicine is that I don't believe it's differentiated.
Okay.
I don't, and for those of you who don't know what differentiate means, it means recognizing the differences in each person and recognizing your genetic differences, your lifestyle differences, your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. Our
Right.
medicine, our allopathic, our Western medicine does not recognize that. And it wasn't until I started meeting others who were going to the same cardiologist as myself, and we were all told to be on the exact same meds, the exact same doses.
Right.
I'm 4'10", female, young. Why am I on the same doses as a 300-pound, 90-year-old man? That
Yeah,
makes
yeah, it makes no sense. That's why I tell people when they're like, I got on the scale and I didn't lose weight. Did your clothes get looser?
exactly, because mass and volume are different, and you lose, yeah.
Some people lose it on the top, some people lose it on the bottom, some people lose it around the middle.
That's right.
I
Hmm.
have asthma and I'm allergic to a lot of foods. And I grew up a vegetarian, eating fruits and vegetables. Now I'm allergic to a lot of fruits. Well, the environment has changed and the way they make food now has changed. So my
Absolutely.
body has not adapted to the unclean, unhealthy. So I'm all about the healthy. I'm all about trying to find a natural way to, I say, synchronize your body with the
Mm-hmm.
environment so that you're
Mm,
healthier. So
I love
tell
that.
us when that happened to you,
Hmm.
and I know you was like, what the? Mm.
Pretty much.
What was like the first thing that you found that worked?
The the first thing that I found that worked, um, let's see, was going keto.
I love keto.
Me too. Mm.
I love keto.
Which is against what almost any heart association or cardiologist will tell you.
Really?
Yeah, and the reason why it worked for me is you actually have to look at the mechanism of salt. And this is going to be really fascinating, I think. Okay, so pretty a lot of people know that too much salt is bad for you, right?
Yes.
That's something we hear, and it's probably pretty common knowledge that if someone has heart disease that they should be low sodium,
Right?
right? That's kind of general information, and that's what any cardiologist and heart association will tell you. But what you have to do is you have to look at why they say no salt. So they say no salt and low salt because salt will make you retain fluid,
Right?
which will bring up your blood volume, the amount of blood you have in your body, which will create high blood pressure. Okay, so that's the
Right?
mechanism that they're going from, which makes total and utter complete sense.
Right?
But your body actually doesn't retain salt on its own. If you do a fast and you drink salt and water for 3 days, you will not gain a pound. You'll probably actually lose a lot of weight. Salt needs a carrier. And guess what that carrier is?
I
Carbs and
cannot.
sugars. So if you eliminate sugar,
Salt is the carrier of carbs and sugar.
so salt can only make you gain fluid and weight if you eat it with carbs and sugars. It can't actually adhere to your body on its own.
Get the what do the old people say? Shut the front door.
Yeah, yeah,
What?
yeah.
So okay, let's say this again. Salt is a carrier of sugar and carbs. It cannot connect to you itself because I always thought because it holds water that
Mhm,
water they call it water weight
mhm,
that water weight was what you would see as a gain.
mhm. But it can't do it on its own. It needs help to make that water weight happen.
That is
And
crazy.
isn't it crazy? And if anybody's going like, I don't believe you right now, I would encourage you to follow cardiac researcher James DiNocolatino on social media and read his book, The Salt Fix. All the info's in there. Because
And
yeah,
we're gonna put that name in the script. of
Yeah.
your podcast. So
Sure.
we'll get the spelling of it later
Okay. Yeah.
and the book name and everything, and we'll put it in the script. And you all, it's going to be a lot of juicy things in her script. So do
Yeah.
not miss it.
Stay tuned, guys. Stay on.
Yes,
So yeah,
that's
and
phenomenal.
isn't it phenomenal? And you know what? It breaks my heart completely to go on to support groups and people going, I'm doing exactly what my cardiologist told me. I'm eating vegetarian. I'm eating vegan. I'm not eating any salt at all. And I just keep feeling worse and worse. And I keep getting fatter and fatter.
Mm-mm.
And and you put the little hints out there going like, well, if
You
you're
got you
thinking,
got my full attention. Like what?
yeah, what? Yeah, like please read this, do this research. Don't believe me, don't trust me, because I'm all about getting this from the source.
So
But
that's why the keto diet works, because it's low in carbs.
it's very low in carbs, and actually, the number one cause of heart disease is inflammation, and the biggest cause
Mm-hmm.
of inflammation is insulin resistance.
Mm-hmm.
And then when
Yeah.
insulin resistance gets to a point, it becomes type 2 diabetic. And this is what people don't realize either, is that you can be insulin resistant and have low blood sugars.
Yeah, I do know that.
Yeah.
I studied keto under Dr. Berg.
Oh, I love his videos.
Yeah. And, of course, being the analyst that I am, I went outside of him and make sure that what he is saying is the truth.
Mm-hmm.
But
Exactly. Yeah.
that man is so precise.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Berg is so precise
Yeah.
that he has convinced me to do keto. And we've been doing keto for, I want to say, almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I had a tummy tuck in October of 18 and decided, okay, that costs too daggone much money to gain any weight, and started finding things that would help me. And keto was it.
Mm-hmm.
Keto was it. And most people are like, oh, I don't know nothing about keto, but you can eat meat and vegetables. I mean, of course, you can't go overboard, but you can eat meat and vegetables, and you can have some carbs.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be picky about your carbs.
You do.
But
Yeah.
the only thing that my only challenge with keto is the sugar. That
Mm.
sugar, I'm like, we should have, like they have AAA. We
Yeah.
need a support group for that sugar.
Okay.
Mm.
And and let me ask you a question. When you want sugar, what exactly do you want? Like, do you want chocolate? Do you want fruit? Do you want ice
I
cream?
I don't really eat fruit, no ice cream,
Yeah,
so
I know
it's
you yeah.
it's usually like moon pie or
Ooh.
oatmeal cream, the little
Oh.
oatmeal cream thing, or we have our favorite cake, ganache cake. It was our
Mm,
wedding cake, and like anniversary or something like that, we eat ganache cake. So
mhm.
it's things like that. It's the real sugary stuff, like
Like that, yeah.
like that. It's got to be a special occasion, and it's got to be a reward. It's not something I can eat all the time, but
Exactly.
it calls me all the time. I feel like a real junkie, a sugar junkie, because it calls me all the time. I use a lot of Splenda, and
Mm,
I keep trying to figure out if that's good or bad. But and I have high blood
uh-huh.
pressure,
Mm,
so keto has helped that,
mhm.
and I have
Right, right.
asthma,
Yeah.
and the inflammation is
Mm,
one of the things that affects my asthma more than anything, and
mm.
keto has helped that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why
So
I was asking, sorry, about your cravings is because we get cravings for a reason.
I believe
And
that.
and it's different if it's just like, oh, it's there in front of me, so I'm craving it. But for me, for instance, I crave chocolate. And then when you actually look at what's in chocolate, it's magnesium, specifically dark
Yes.
chocolate, right? And 94% of us are magnesium deficient. So when you're craving something, it's important to look at why are you craving it.
Magnesium. And I have heard that magnesium is something that we really are deficient in.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And it, yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
a I'm a buff up on my magnesium and see if that helps with
Hmm.
my sugar cravings.
Yeah,
That would be nice if it's
it
that
would be.
simple. Do you have
If
any other tips for that sugar thing?
other than look exactly at what you're craving, like if it's specifically oranges, well, maybe you're not getting enough vitamin C, right? So, I mean, if it's not something in front of you and you can visually see it and want it, because that's a whole different, visual want thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But if it's something that you're like, oh, I'm craving this so badly, no matter what it is. If it's pickles, for instance, you could be craving salt. You could be low in salt. That
You
you
know,
want
I went
to.
through being low in iron where I was addicted to
Mm.
starch.
Mm-hmm.
I was so addicted that I found myself one day. I drove to the Publix grocery store, got
Mm.
the box of starch, and I could not even get home. In the parking lot,
Wow.
I had to have the starch. And so I
Mm.
found out that I was iron deficient because I tried to donate blood.
Mm.
And they were like, no, you're really iron deficient.
Mm-hmm.
So, I did some things about that and it really worked. I mean, the craving just went away. So if I can do some magnesium, girl, I'm gonna overdose of magnesium to get rid of this chocolate. I would love to just have it,
Mm-hmm.
just have it and not crave it.
Yeah,
Have it because I want to have it and not because I feel like I really need it or I just can't get through the
exactly.
next moment. So
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's one of the problems too with sugar is that it's comparable to a drug if you look at the studies of the brain, of the addiction part of the brain that lights up, compared to like crack
It
and
lights
cocaine.
up.
It lights up on the CT scanner.
Ooh.
Party time. It does. It lights up that addiction part of the brain and it makes it go crazy. And that's why it's such a hard habit to kick.
Oh my God.
It's because of
I've
that.
never met anyone who's been able to kick the sugar habit.
Kick it to the curb. I'll save it for you.
I would, like I said, I don't want to never have chocolate. That's not I would just want to not crave it. Like
Mm,
not get up 11 o'clock at night and go to the corner store and
mm,
get a Hostess Twinkie. And it's
mhm,
done before I get home.
mhm.
Like,
That would be really nice. Yeah.
so yeah. So tell us what type of heart health plan you got on.
Okay, oh, so I have 5 categories that I look at in heart health. So the first one is nutrition. And this is where the fingerprint part of my thing comes in. So, what I do for nutrition is 91% of all heart patients are nutritionally deficient.
I
And
believe that.
this, yeah, and so I will send you to wherever your local lab is to get a full nutritional panel done so that we can find out exactly what you're nutritionally deficient in. Um, I have identified 8 groups of foods that most heart patients have one or two at least of them intolerant to. So we go on an elimination diet for 21 days where we eliminate those 8 groups of food, and then after the 21 days we retest. Now the 21 days is important, and if anybody's interested in this, you can research JJ Virgin. Um, and about the 21 days is it actually takes your body 21 days to reduce the inflammation to a point of non-existence in your body if it's from food.
Okay.
Okay, so it's really important to get to that 21 days. Now, if you're slightly intolerant to something, maybe you can't lose weight and you don't really feel very badly, but you don't understand why. So it could be that you're slightly intolerant to a food that's keeping you bloated. So you have to, but you wouldn't call it an allergy and it wouldn't show up on an allergy test. The only way to figure it out is to eliminate it for 21 days so the inflammation from that food is completely gone from your diet, and then to test it. And when you retest something that you've eliminated to, even if you're just a little bit intolerant to, your body will send signals right away because it hasn't seen it for 3 weeks. So
Wow.
it'll let you know right away that it is not a happy camper.
Okay. And then what do you do with
Mhm.
that information?
With that information, we build a diet plan specifically for you to fill those nutritional holes and to help you stay away from the foods that you're sensitive to.
You sound like my naturopath doctor. I have a naturopath doctor that when things get really, really, really bad, I'll go to her because
Mhm.
I know right off the bat it's going to cost me $300
Mhm.
every time I go to her. And I only go to her once every 2 or 3 years, but
Mhm.
every time I go to her, I walk away spending $300. Not because that's how much she costs.
Mhm.
She puts you on a bio feed. I think that's what
Okay.
it's called. So she hooks you up to all these little things
Mhm.
and she finds out what you're deficient in or what you have too much of, that type of thing. And then she gives you all the little bottles of real stuff, instead of the
Mhm.
pills and things like that, where you're taking drops. I
Mhm.
mean, one time I ended up with like 32 drops a day,
Wow, that's a lot.
but everything went away. Like before I had my
Wonderful.
surgery, I had to have blood work and everything to do.
Mhm.
I had blood work done, let's say that. And my surgeon looked at my records, my blood work. She was like, "Oh my God, you're like phenomenally healthy. Like this surgery is going to go so smooth." She said, "Your recovery is going to be wonderful because I exercise every day too."
Mhm.
She said, "Your recovery is going to be wonderful. This is going to be a piece of cake." I started to ask for a discount. Like it's going to be that easy.
I would. Why not?
She was so phenomenal. I actually wanted to give her a raise after everything was
Aw.
over. I mean, her surgery was phenomenal. Her bedside manner is so wonderful. You actually feel like a friend.
Hmm.
And she believes in all the natural nutrition. So,
Wonderful.
yeah. So,
That's
yeah,
great.
I get your program, which is absolutely wonderful
Thank
because
you.
you need to know what's going on inside of you because it
Absolutely.
reflects everything on the outside of you.
Absolutely. So that's the nutrition part. And then we go to exercise. And
Uh-oh.
so,
Uh-oh, y'all.
ah.
Y'all hear that? Uh-oh.
So, and now this is
Yes.
fascinating because this is another thing that I hear all the time. I was an athlete. I was so healthy. I ate healthily, but then I had a heart attack or my heart just started to go
Mm-hmm.
funky.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. My doctors don't know why. I don't understand why.
Right.
Now, there is something called a J curve or a U curve, depending on who you talk to. So basically, at the bottom of the curve in the round part, where you get the optimum results for your heart and exercise, is those that do moderate exercise.
Okay.
Okay, so they're not overstressing, they're doing
Right.
lots of walks, short jogs, hikes, easy hikes, going out riding the bikes with the kids, that kind of thing. And then you have the two stems. And on one side you have the people who don't exercise at all.
Right.
Okay, and on the other stem you have your athletes. Athletes are almost just about, and that's why it's either a J for the shortened, or you, depending who you talk
Mm-hmm.
to,
Mm-hmm.
as likely to have a heart attack as someone who doesn't exercise and eats junk food.
Why?
Um, because you overstress the heart. So there is a heartbeat for everyone that is your sweet spot where you build the boat most muscle. Now, part of my journey to discover what this is I found the research from the godfather of cardiac rehab and from the 1940s, and I got his formula, which was for men because he was an army military doctor from Finland.
Okay.
And so I took his formula and then I added in some kind of modern day things to it. And then the one thing I added for females is I added the Gulati Principle. Now, Martha
The
Gulati,
what?
yeah, Gulati Principle for females.
Gulati.
Gulati.
Gulati Principle. Okay. I
Mhm.
want to make sure I'm spelling this right. I'm taking notes.
Okay. So Martha Gulati is an exercise physiologist from India. All right. And we
Mm.
all know males and females react differently to everything. Like we're just biologically different. So her principle is, and it's really, really simple, is that females only need 88% of exercise, nutrition, medicine as a man to achieve the same results. So I took that 88% and I worked it into the formula so that females only get 88%.
You've been working, girl. You've
Oh,
been
you have no idea.
you have been working.
Yeah,
And I'm sure so many people appreciate that work. Oh my God, because you have actually put it together for us.
I have. I put it all there. So we do the math. um, and we figure out what that is. And then there are stages depending on where you are in your recovery. So, for instance, stage one is when your heart function is less than 40% EF, ejection fraction, and or you've
We don't
just
know
had
what that
surgery.
is yet, y'all.
Okay.
I
Ejection.
don't want you to think that I know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we haven't said that yet. I'll just quickly say
You'll
what it
teach
is.
us.
So ejection fraction is the amount of blood that your heart pushes out each.
Okay.
Okay, and depending on where you are in the world, the average is between 50 to 70% of your blood should be pushed out each beat.
Okay.
Okay, so if your heart is pushing out less than 40%, it's considered heart failure.
Or
All right,
80%.
80% is considered high functioning heart failure because it's
Right.
pushing out too
Too
much.
much. Okay.
So it can go either end of the spectrum.
All right. I get that.
And as you heard before, mine was 15 functioning, so mine was only pushing out 15% of my blood each beat. Yeah.
What happened?
Nobody really knows for sure. Is
I hate that.
that's on my records. It's idiopathic, which is means I don't know.
Idiopathic.
Idiopathic.
And
I don't know.
they have a fancy word for it.
They do. Isn't that cool? Just to make you feel special.
Idiopathic.
Idiopathic. Woohoo. So if you're just had surgery or if you have, in heart failure or if you've had any really big mental or emotional traumas happening in your life, then you want to be at what's considered 30 to 40% of your heart rate reserve. And so
Okay.
for me, for instance, that's under 30 to 40% is 93 to 106 beats per minute.
Okay.
Okay. So if when I'm that low or I've just had anything major happening to the body where the body's super stressed, I want to be no more than 106 beats per minute for myself with my numbers when I work out.
Got it. Got
Then
it.
the next level is once you've kind of got past that stage, and there's a few qualifying factors that you'll do with me so you know it's safe to go past that stage. Is 40 to 60% of your heart rate reserve, which for me is 107 to 131 beats
Okay.
per minute to
Okay.
exercise at.
Yes.
And this is when we're kind of like building up endurance from having a really stressed body. We're building back our strength, all that kind of thing. And then the sweet spot is 65% of your heart rate reserve. And that's when your heart's going to build the most muscle.
Okay.
Okay, and for me, at the age I'm 38 now, so that heart rate for me is 136 beats per minute. So
Okay.
when I exercise, that's where I try to exercise most of the time, so that my heart muscle gets strong.
That's at like 20 minutes. Like exercise at this level for 20 minutes
Exactly. Yeah.
for cardio health.
For cardio health. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. And then your 70 to 90% of your heart rate reserve is when you're, getting into those endurance athletes and stuff. And what's fascinating to me is that this information I just told you about athletes being prone to heart attacks is not known by cardiologists, but in sports medicine, they actually have EKG leads, not just a chest strap that monitors your heart rate, but actually an EKG lead. It's a company called Fourth Frontier, where a coach can be at their computer while you're running a marathon and monitoring your heartbeat pattern, and they will actually come over the speaker while you're racing and saying like, cool it, take a walk,
Oh,
your
wow.
heart rate's getting erratic.
Oh, wow.
So the sports medicine knows that this happens. They know that this is
But
a possibility,
cardiologists don't know it.
but well, not many of them apparently.
So how long have you been on this journey?
2 years, almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in March.
2 years, because you said it happened to you at 36. 2 years is not a long time
No.
for you to find out this information. So we know what you've been doing full time.
Yes, and a lot of help along the way.
So you believe in healthy eating. So you have a free recipe book that has myth
Do.
busters.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
So it's a very short recipe. It's just 5 of my favorite recipes, and they're all keto friendly.
Yay!
Yay, because they're all insulin resistant. So I've got an awesome beet and chicken stir fry because beets have
Ooh.
so many good things for the heart health to make you
Mhm.
good. What else do I have? I used to live in China for 3 years, and my favorite Chinese street food, so it's a take on that, called jidan bing. And so
What
it's
is that?
basically an egg pancake with vegetables and
Okay.
spices.
I like
So
egg
I have,
pancakes.
yeah, they're good, aren't they? So
Mm-hmm.
that's in it. I have a guacamole steak salad in it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It is so good. It's my favorite. I love steak. I'm such a steak
Okay, so I'm
person.
going to make this your listening gift. You all,
Okay.
this is going to be her listening gift. So just click on listeninggift.com or go to listeninggift.com and you'll be able to get her free recipe book. And for
Yay!
all of us who are wondering how to get all of this juicy information into our lives, she's going to do a 6-month kickstart
Mm-hmm.
heart health program. Say
Mm-hmm.
that 3 times.
It's a mouthful.
So she's going to do that. We're going to put the link in there. And if it's not ready yet, then we're going to have to come back and when it's ready and tell
Mhm.
y'all about it.
Absolutely. I would love to come back.
Other than that, she does workshops. She's a podcaster, or are you a guest on podcasts?
I'm a guest on a lot of podcasts.
She's a guest on a lot of podcasts. So
Mm-hmm.
how do we find you on the other podcasts?
So I have been on the Heart Attack Thriver,
Nice.
so you can find that on Instagram.
Okay.
I have been on, where else have I been on?
Maybe we can
I have
just
lots
Google
of places.
your name because
Yeah, I put them all on my
Woywikita.
social media, so
Okay, on her social media.
on my social
Oh,
media is the
that's
best.
where we
Yeah.
find her, social media. And you're working with the National Cardiology?
Oh, yeah, almost. So in England, they have a patient based charity called Cardiomyopathy UK, and cardiomyopathy means heart muscle disease. And so it's kind of their patient service where they help you advocate, they train you. It's
Nice.
completely free. And the best thing about them is that anybody in the world can go to their support group meetings.
Oh, wow. So we're going to put the link to that in her script.
Yep.
Along with her favorite book by James somebody.
Oh, James Latino.
Yeah.
We'll
she
get that
said.
right in the
Yeah, what she said. And you talked about JJ Virgin. Is that the green smoothie person? JJ Virgin?
Yes. She was the one who actually that I found came up with the 21 days of elimination to figure out if you're,
Yeah. I
yeah,
think I
she's
have her book.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because I learned how to do green smoothies in the blender because before I found her, I was actually juicing everything.
Uh,
And then I was throwing away a lot of the pulp and decided to make that into a salad. And then I started juicing and putting the pulp back in the juicing because I ran into a friend who has a product called Chuice, Chuice, which is like
okay.
a chewy juice. It's wonderful, wonderful. And then we have the Martha Gulati Principle.
Gulati.
So that link is going to be in there. And The Godfather.
Hmm.
That link is going to be, girl, this script is going to be juicy. Y'all have to go to her script and get everything. We're going to have her social media in there so you can contact her. What's your website?
My website is www.healthyheartcoachjackie, spelt my way, .org.
We're going to
Yeah.
have that in there.
Mhm.
And she is going to be everywhere on all the social medias. She is going to have her own blog, and she is going to be on 17 podcast directories.
Wow. You're setting me up for the year.
So if anybody wants to be a podcast guest on Chaos, please fill out the guest profile, which wasn't too difficult, was it?
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't
Fill
at
out the
all.
guest profile, which is the link is gonna be in there. And we're so happy to have you, Jakki. You are a wealth of information, a dictionary of healthy heart.
Thank
Thanks so
you.
much. We truly enjoyed you sharing with us. And good
You're so
luck in the
welcome.
future.
Thank you so much, Terry Lynn. Thank you so much for having me on here today. It's been such a pleasure.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
I want to thank you for listening because this podcast is for you. And don't forget to get your listening gift. You can go to listeninggift.com. That's LISTENING gift.com. Compliments and constructive criticism are welcome. If there is anything you would like me to talk about, just hit me up. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at Coach Terry Lynn. That is Coach T as in Tom, ERRILYNN. And remember, create habits and outstanding success with us right here on Chaos.